Hello, comrades, and welcome to the Season 10 finale of Locomotive Royale. I'm your host, Ellis, otherwise known as the Admiral. With me, I have 5 contestants returning from previous Royales. 4 of them won. This is the culmination of Season 10, so if you haven't seen Season 10 up to this point, I recommend you go back and watch the preceding episodes so you know how everyone got here. We will cover that in brief in just a moment, but first, of course, I have to thank our sponsor, the Iron Horseman Company, and the Iron Horseman Steam Locomotive Trading Cards, which you can check out at theironhorseman.com. They're what we play this game with. Now, on to our contestants. First up, Kaiserin. What is this, and where did it come from, and how did you get here?
Well, this is the Lorenco Marquis. That's what it is. From class 301 from Mozambique, and it got here by the skin of its teeth, literally.
But you notched another one, so it's good to see you here in the finale.
Well, I got here by 0.1 points because it was a tiebreaker.
That's true. This thing won the vote. So yeah, it's good to have this thing here. It's a Cape Gauge Pacific. It won the Royale of Cape Gauge Pacifics, or of Narrow Gauge Pacifics, and yeah, it was a dead heat for that finish, and this is what made it in at the beginning of the season. In the second position, Brian, tell us about the Not an Empress.
Yeah, so in an opposite of what happened way back in Season 2, where I won one Royale and lost the very next one, I lost the first Royale and then won the second one. Hello, is I Starlight Alchemist. This is Canadian Pacific 3716, which up until the early 2000s, I want to say, was one of the three steam locomotives in the provincial British Columbia steam fleet. And it's the only standard gauge 280 in Western Canada that I haven't been able to see in person, or that operates, I should point out. Yeah. I like this one. Fort and I both tried to go for it at the same time, because I had to add an extra 1 to the Loco base ID that I guessed. Over his, because we both went for the exact same number for the exact same engine. I ended up getting it, and he had to switch to Red and Camelback, but that's not what he's in now.
Which
as you'll see,
led to many memes. The
Grand Camel.
The Grand. I don't want to call that thing grand.
I want to make a Photoshop of that. If you can get me that picture, I want to try.
I'll have to see if I can find it again. I don't know where it went.
It's up in the
Back
chat
to older
somewhere.
stuff.
You just have to start scrolling.
Yeah.
Anyway, and when I say that, I of course need to point out to everyone, if you'd like to be a part of the Loco Games, you can join our Discord. Links in the description. Fort, you didn't get to bring the Camelback, thank God, but you did bring this thing.
Hi. Yes. So this is an engine that I made the stat sheet for entirely on my own, because and it's basically they were Lithuania's main freight haulers. Very small country. You don't need much, so something with nothing but drivers is enough to carry you the couple hundred kilometers from the Baltic coast to the capital.
Yeah, this is an interesting case. This is one of the things that made me go, oh, you can use mud diggers for things that aren't shuffling cars around in a yard. Huh.
Have we discovered what the reason for the 2 domes are? Because it's only got one sand dome. What are the other 2 for?
Well, one is the throttle, and the other one is where the feed water comes in, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's weird that they have a dedicated dome specifically for that, but I'm not complaining. I like the look of 3 domes.
And if I remember right, you did get a style point for that, having the top-mounted valve.
Feed.
Yeah, top-mounted feed. Also has a fun little bell with that does not, shake.
Yeah, it's the kind that goes ding 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 ding.
Well, most bells do that, but
No, it's like a crossing sounding bell, and a lot of like it's the kind you see all over Germany. The Molybahn engine that I also brought to that Royale had one.
Yeah, so this is an interesting piece. I have no idea where this locomotive is going to land. I have a decent
Neither do
idea about
I.
these two. I have no idea what Ford is going to do with an 080 in this field. It definitely has some advantages, I'll say that much. Anyway,
I can see one.
Marine, you got in here because Milky was unable to make it. You are here in his stead with this locomotive. What can you tell us about it?
Well, first of all, is the Chicago Northwestern E4 won the Hudson Royale, and that's pretty much as I know about it, because this is rather last minute, and if Melky does end up watching this in the future, I apologize if I end up losing, but I guess that's what happens when you jump into something spur of the moment.
Well, you do
Well,
just like
for me at least.
yeah, you do have just as good a chance if anyone else is taking home a free pack of trading cards at the end of this event, and I do think you have certain advantages with this locomotive, but also certain disadvantages. The balance of which I will leave it up to you and your competitors to discover. Uh,
Anyway, see streaming and recording.
yeah, finally, Mew, your baby.
Baby. Yeah. Caminhos de Ferro do Sul e Sueste, or Railways of the South and Southeast, #1, the Dom Luís. This thing is back. And finally, in a final.
Yeah, well, you won the Royale last week to make it here with this.
Yep.
You won by a veritable landslide. Style points
Yeah,
ended before we even hit 25, and I had to look at the rules to see if we could actually do that. Because it's been a
Yep.
long time since that sort of thing has happened.
Yep, the 222 Royale,
Yes.
which I will have to decide what to use my veto point on, because I'm definitely going to be getting at least one guaranteed one, most likely more.
Well, remember, I invite you to recheck the rules for certain edge cases regarding the fact that you are a single driver locomotive, because I recall in a previous Royale, it may have been you with this very locomotive, you got a couple things backwards and it really gave you a bad time. So,
Oh, yeah.
at any
Wouldn't
rate,
it be totally funny if I called it again?
oh god. You know, history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme.
It does.
Kaiserin, hailing from Mozambique, what is your first stat call?
Okay. In honor of my alliance last game in the 222 Royale, the Broad Gauge Alliance,
Collusion!
I'm going to call driver wheelbase.
Driver wheelbase. Okay, yeah, there you go.
Hard.
That's not bad. Driver wheelbase. Going once? Going twice? Driver wheelbase. Or rigid wheelbase. In this case, it's the same. We have no articulated engines. No funny business. At least not yet. What is your...
As far as you know.
Yeah, what is your rigid wheelbase, Kaiser?
11.
11. Yeah, it's... Okay, alright. Another set of drivers on this one. Brian?
I'm a Mikado, or I mean 16.5.
16.5. I thought you were a Mikado, too.
No, that's the funny thing is that was the three-way tie that was so funny in the Region Royale, Mikado Royale thing.
Fort?
Well, we got a bunch of metricisms going on, but it's going to round to about 15.4, or 15.2. But if I, just
No, you put that away right now. You get that back down to 2 digits.
Jesus Christ.
We do not need to see all those decimals. Marine.
I am
He's
surprised
pulling
at
his digits
this.
out.
14.67.
Ooh, 14.67. That's not bad. That's not bad. You do have only 3 sets of drivers, so that does help. Hi, baby. Kicking the door open.
Yeah, 3 sets of drivers, and it's less than a foot shorter.
Of course, yours sort of goes without saying, but do you want to say it?
Le goose egg. Honk.
Fat zero, and the one of the very few times where a 0 is beneficial. So that's 5 points for you, 4 points for Kaiserin. It looks like the alliance worked. 3 points for Marine there. 2 points for Fort and 1 point for Brian. Brian getting a 1
Now
on the first stat
I
call.
must admit,
Not what I
I
expected
must
to
admit
see.
something.
Go ahead, Kaiserin.
I must admit something, and that something is the Alliance has now become a game of Crusader Kings 3. Sorry, Mute.
Oh,
Damn.
no. Quick, have another
Curse
pick
you.
and marry off
That was
again.
the shortest alliance in the history of Locomotive Royale. All right, Brian.
Curse your
Well, no,
sudden
this-
but inevitable
Operation Barbarossa
betrayal.
has begun.
Brian, what is your first stat call?
Okay, so I know that I have a very unlikely chance of getting a 5 in most things. And I probably should think that it's scary, but I honestly don't. Fuck it. Let's go with boiler pressure.
Boiler pressure's an interesting one. I don't think it's bad. Going once, going twice. Boiler pressure, Kaiserin.
190.
Brian.
I forgot about that. Also 190.
All right, we have our first tie. Fort.
205-point metricisms.
Okay.
I forgot about that.
It won't be a tie for 5s, that's for sure. Marine.
300.
That makes sense. And
I thought I was
you.
going to get a 4.
120.
I'm sorry, Mew.
I
But
cry
also, I
every
thought I was going
team.
to get a 4. I forgot how
Oh,
high
baby.
Fort's boiler pressure was. I thought his was absurdly bad for some reason.
Now that was Mew apparently, but 5 points go to Marine here. 4 points go to Fort. 3 points in between Brian and Kaiserin, and 1 point to Mew. So Mew goes from a 5 to a 1. We move on to Fort's stat call.
Okay, yeah, so I've been kind of, flip-flopping here, a little bit because I wasn't quite sure. And, I think I'm going to go with, no, actually, probably should save that one until a couple of vetoes are off the board. You know what? I'm going to go, because honestly, I'm kind of curious how this stacks up with Brian. But yeah, I want to do engine wheelbase.
Engine wheelbase. Interesting. Going once, going twice. Engine wheelbase. Which is right here. Kaiserin?
29.42.
Brian?
25.42.
Fort?
I already put this answer down.
15.42. Marine?
Wait, I'm sensing a pattern here.
42.33.
Ah, you
No,
ruined
there's
it.
still a 42. The pattern keeps on. And Mew?
Oh,
15.33.
You know what? I'm going to consider that part of the pattern because it got a 3-3. You just had a
And a
transition
15,
right here.
which has also been
But,
seen before.
Mew gets a 5 here, bouncing right back to the top. 4 points to Fort, so not a bad call. 3 points to Brian, 2 points to Kaiserin, and 1 point to Marine with the largest locomotive here. Unsurprising.
okay, now I'm just looking at the engine. And I'm just looking at Mew's engine now, and I hit. Okay, the fact that a 222's engine wheelbase is only slightly smaller than mine is like shocking scale-wise.
For its Iberian gauge.
We learned last time that the fact that this was rod gauge did not make that much of a difference.
Well, I mean, but it was also comparing it to, like, a bunch of standard gauge ones in the Firefly.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the length of it, not the width.
All right, Marine, what is your first stat call?
Fuck you, Chicago and Northwest.
Hmm.
Save it for when he's in first.
Fine. Yep. Sure. Fair.
Same as above plus superheater.
Same as above, plus superheater. Going once, going twice, digging right on into those power computations. I think that's a very smart play. Kaiserin,
80-26.
80-26. Brian,
1380.
okay, those two are closer than I might have expected. Fort,
Wait, 1380?
11380. I was making the mean.
Oh,
oh, okay.
Oh, your mic
You
yeah,
cut
your mic
off
cut
on
out.
my
I thought
end.
you said
Damn it.
1380. Fort,
Yeah. So 7355.
7355. Okay, wow. And Marine,
35, 9, 17.
yeah, that's a real locomotive. Mew,
2160.
2160. This is the story I expected, except for the three people in the middle. 5 points to 5 points to Marine here. 4 points goes to Brian, 3 points to Kaiser, and 2 points to Fort, and 1 point to Mew. So yeah, you three in the middle there are all pretty close to one another, especially Fort and Kaiser, and on power computations. That could mean a lot going forward. Mew, what is your first stat call?
It's a shame because engine wheelbase was already called, so I got to make some decisions now.
Yeah,
You know what?
The shortest lived alliance ever actually made life more difficult for you.
Yeah. Do I
Operation
have that
Barbarossa.
number? Yes. Okay. I'm gonna call wait on drivers.
Wait on drivers. Going once, going twice. Wait on drivers, I think, is a smart call for you. Kaiserin.
94,500.
Okay, under 100K. It's little, even though it's not that little. Brian.
216,000.
Fort.
152,118.
Okay.
Well,
I'm getting a 1.
I was on the wrong page.
I don't think you're getting a 1, Brian. Marine.
Yeah, about that.
What?
Oh my
Are you-
god.
116,000.
What?
Oh, I'm not getting a 1.
You know what? I was right. You're not getting a 1. That's not something
What the fuck?
That is not the tie I expected today. What in?
That is
Yeah, what-
hilarious.
When I literally typed in the number, and then Brian, you put your number. I'm like, wait a minute, did I mistype that? I'm like, no, I didn't
Type
mistype
in the
that.
wrong spot.
Something's
All right,
not
Mew.
right.
Mew, how many feathers do you weigh?
25,984.
25,984 pounds of feathers. 5 points for you. 4 points for Kaiserin. The broad gauge and the narrow gauge get 5 and 4 respectively. 3 points to
Handshake emoji.
Fort. Fort, are you standard gauge?
Yep.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you'd be Russian gauge. And then 2.
No, that wasn't until after the invasion.
Gotcha. Yeah. 2 points to both Marine and Brian in a turn of events that I would not have expected whatsoever. And this is where we stand right
I
now.
was gonna say, I was gonna predict that Mew is somehow in the lead because Mew has 51515.
And you would predict correctly. Mew is in the lead with 17 points. It's not much of a lead, but it's there. There's a tie between Marine and you, Kaiserin, with 16 points for second. 15 points for Fort in fourth, and Brian trailing with 13, which I don't think is indicative of how Brian is going to fare overall. I think 37-16 is a relatively strong contender in this one. The pendulum just needs to swing in the right direction for it. I would imagine that it has some advantages over at least 2, if not 3 of the other locomotives in the field, like really distinct advantages. Although, there are some things about it that might be holding it back from really exploiting those advantages. Uh, at any rate, Mew being in the lead, while it isn't astonishing, I don't think it's going to last. So, that was an interesting first
Surely
round.
not.
Kaiserin, what is your stat call to start us off the second round?
Well, I have a bunch of options, but I'm not sure any of them will go through. So I'm going to go with the craziest one that I believe to be the craziest one, and that is factor of adhesion.
That is a crazy pick.
Oh,
Going
okay.
once, going twice. Factor of adhesion. How's everyone feeling tonight? Because I'm feeling crazy.
Crazy.
Crazy?
Alright, factor of adhesion. Oh,
That was
shoot.
crazy
I
once.
need to do something really quick. This is going to be one of those episodes where I get my War Thunder Daily in the middle of the show. I just realized it's almost
I
8
gotta do
o'clock.
that too. I might do that with you.
Factor of adhesion from Kaiserin.
4.17.
4.17. That's a really good factor of adhesion. Not like outstanding, but considering the field, I think is very good. Brian?
4.98.
Not great.
Ouch.
Fort?
3.29.
3.29. Okay, still better than the last one. I expect this one to be good. Marine?
3.93.
That is good. That's the best one so
Wow,
far.
okay.
And I know Dom Louise's is ridiculous, right, Mew?
Kinda, sorta. Middle of the pack here, 3.8.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I expected.
I should have
Insanity.
vetoed that. No.
You were thinking.
It's
Ellis, you
insane
were
compared
thinking
to other
about,
222s.
I was going to say, you were thinking about the Firefly, whose number was in like the 12s.
I was definitely thinking of the Firefly, but I was also thinking of most 222s. 5 points to Marine here. That makes sense. 4 points to Kaiserin. 3 points to Mew. 2 to Fort, and 1 to Brian.
I might not make it into style points now that I realize it, because I wasn't expecting to get 2 ones.
Well, now's your chance to get something else. Brian, it's your call.
High pressure cylinders.
High pressure cylinders. That's a smart call, I think. Going once. Going twice. Okay, high pressure cylinders. We've made it this far without a veto. Kaiserin?
I got 18 by 26, and I have 2 of them.
18 by 26. About 13,000 cubic inches. Brian?
23 by 32 by 2.
About 26,000 cubic inches. Fort?
23.6 by almost 26. And I have 2 of them.
Okay, about 23,000 cubic inches. Marine?
25 by 29. I got 2.
For 28,000 cubic inches. That's the leader. I'm not surprised there. And Mew?
I'm in danger. 16 by 22, and I have 2 of them.
For about 9,000 cubic inches. Not fantastic. Not a surprise, though. 5 points goes to the CNNW. 4 points goes to Brian. 3 to Fort. 2 to Kaiserin. And 1 to Dom Luigi. Yeah, no surprises there, really. Fort, what is your second stat call?
You know what? I think I'm going to okay, wait, let me just take a second to look at the field here again. So we got that. We have an American, we have a Canadian, and we have whatever that is. You know what? I can't remember my numbers here, so I'm just, or I can't remember what everybody else was before, so I'm going to go with number in class.
Number in class. Going once?
Uh,
Going twice?
I would like. Well, no, let's go. Let's
Okay.
go.
All right. That was a very dramatic throat clearing from
Veto.
you. Okay, all right. I was gonna say, were you building up to something, or were you just being dramatic? Veto number in class from you. I wonder why. All right, Fort, you get a chance to pick something else.
Okay, so I guess, um, ratio of driving wheelbase to overall engine wheelbase.
Ratio of driving wheelbase to overall engine wheelbase. Wheelbase ratio. Going once. Going twice. Wheelbase ratio. Okay.
I'm surprised nobody vetoed that. Okay.
Well, I think there's only one person who
Well-
really would have, and, well,
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
I
Yeah.
honestly thought you were calling that out of spite.
No, I completely forgot that was the engine that Mew had.
No, it's still just as funny calling it.
Kaiserin?
I felt like vetoing that out of pity, but I got something more important to veto.
Yeah, that's fair.
0.37.
0.37. Brian?
It ain't good.
0.65.
0.65. Ford?
One.
1.
Juan.
Marine?
0.35.
Ooh, yeah, worse than the Pacific
Ooh.
makes sense. Mew?
I mean, technically, if you think about it, the contact surface area is about the width of a dime. So it's not technically 0.
Listen, we're not going beyond 2 significant figures. Or 3 significant figures, rather. We're not.
Also, you're welcome, Brian.
Thank you.
Fort gets a 4 off this stat. Brian gets a
5.
Fort gets a 5. Brian gets a 4. Kaiserin gets a 3. Marine gets a 2. And Mew gets a 1. This makes sense. I mean, there's nothing here that's particularly unusual, although the Pacific and the Hudson are quite close together, unsurprisingly. The consolidation getting second place is, yeah, pretty standard stuff. So, Marine, what is your second stat call?
Hmm. Hmm. Let's do driver diameter.
Driver diameter, you read my mind. Going once, going twice. Driver diameter. Kaiserin?
60.
60. Not bad for a narrow gauger. Brian?
I know I'm getting a 3 because I'm 3 better at 63.
It's bigger than I would have expected, actually. Fort?
I'm fairly certain I'm getting a 1 for this. It's 53 in symmetricisms.
Marine?
84.
And Mew.
Also 84.
There it is. 5 points for the 2 of you.
My
Handshake
memory serves me
emoji.
well.
3 points to Brian, 2 points to Kaiserin, 1 point to Fort. Of course, the other 2 get 5. Mew, what is your second stat call?
Engine weight.
Engine weight, going once, going twice. Engine weight. Good call. Kaiserin?
152,500.
152,000. Brian?
240,000.
Fort.
I am dense.
Dense indeed. Fort.
Hi, Kaiser. 152,118.
Wow.
Whoa.
I said those 2 were unusually similar, or strangely similar, or whatever. That was almost a tie on a very strange stat to tie. Marine.
Yeah, I'm double Brian, almost. 412,000.
Big engine.
Big.
Mew.
Yeesh. 63,392.
The only person under 6 figures. 5 points to you. 4 points to Fort. 3 for Kaiserin, 2 for Brian, 1 for Marine. And this is where we stand at the end of round 2. The lead has changed. Unsurprisingly, to the E4 class 4001, that's Marine and Milky's engine, with 34 points in the lead, 32 points for second place for Mew, who's hanging on to the top end of the roster with a very strong round, reasonably strong compared to competitors. 30 points apiece for the P8.1, the switcher that Fort has brought. Not a switcher, the Mud Digger. That Ford has brought, and the Pacific that Kaiserin has brought. Each have 30 points. 27 points for Brian, who has had a relatively weak starting couple of rounds, and my prospects for this locomotive are looking a little bit thinner. I was expecting to get to
Well, the problem is I got 2 1s right off the bat.
Well, that does cause problems, but this was a 14-point round for that locomotive, and that's not going to be good enough when it's the worst round this round, tied for Kaiserin for fewest points. So I still think there's hope here. This is a very tight field. It's 7 points top to bottom, and we've still got quite a bit of game to play. So no one's in danger of being eliminated yet, and things are still pretty dynamic. Again, Mew is hanging up pretty high in the list, I think, which is good for a Mew surviving into style points. We'll see if that's possible. Kaiserin, what is your third stat call?
I don't know. This one's kind of stupid, but stupid might work. Evaporative heating surface divided by cylinder volume.
Ooh, interesting call. Evaporative heating surface divided by cylinder volume. Going once, going twice. All right, heating surface divided by cylinder volume. I thought I heard somebody say something.
I mean, I was going to veto it, but I need to save my veto for, a couple of particular stats.
All right, Kaiserin, what's your heating surface over cylinder volume?
241.72.
241.72. That's a good number. I would have called that in your position. Brian?
Just like Mikado's, 280's famously known for not being able to hold pressure usually. 150.49.
150.4. Well, no wonder you called high pressure cylinders. Fort?
Yeah, you think you can't hold pressure, Brian.
No, I know about you.
Yeah.
Fort?
118.
118.73. Yikes. And Marine?
I'm very close to Kaiserin.
Oh.
240.17.
Wow. Okay. And Mew?
The benefit, I guess, of having teeny cylinders, 261.54.
Ooh, that's a 5. 5 points for
Ooh,
Don
that's
Luis. I was thinking,
great.
I vaguely remembered this thing being good in that stat, and I feel like locomotives of this vintage, they're either really good or really bad because people hadn't quite figured out all the math yet.
I can't help but think of, when I see forts, I can't help but think of when it was called in the 080 Royale, and I blew you all away with, what was it, like 400?
Yeah, something absurdly good, which is very antithetical to Mud Diggers, but 5 points.
Compound cross.
5 points for Mew, like I said. 4 points for the Mozambique. 3 points for Marine. 2 points for Brian, and 1 point for Fort. Brian, what is your...
Also,
Go ahead.
I would like to point out, if you look at my stat, or if you look at my my points, I've only had 4s on my call, and every other point is either 1 or 2 off.
I know you're a very consistent locomotive, which is why I honestly thought your prospects were good, but you haven't managed to top the charts anywhere, and that's holding you down a little bit. Brian, what is your third stat call?
I'm in the same boat as what you just explained for Kaiserin. However, there is a chance for this one. Tractive effort.
I was waiting for that call from you. Going once, going twice. Tractive effort. It's a safe stat. Nobody vetoes tractive effort.
At
Kaiserin.
least I'll get a 4.
I can't veto it because I already vetoed.
What'd you say, Kaiser?
22,675.
Okay, 22,675. Brian.
43,395.
Fort.
Okay, wait. I'm just double checking. I'm using the right number here. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Yeah. 46,186.
What the
Ooh,
fuck?
all adhesive weight will do that to you. Marine.
I'm gonna say this up front. I didn't call this before because I would have thought Brian would have better attractive effort. That's a fat lie. 500. I mean, sorry,
500.
55,022.
Virginian AE is under the
I'm-
chat.
I'm not making it to style points.
55,022. I honestly thought that Brian would have a better time here. Well,
As did I.
at least he's not getting last. Mew.
6839.
6839. Not even into 5-digit territory, but 5 points goes to the Chicago and Northwestern Railroad Company, which I am not surprised
Chicago
by,
Northwestern Railroad Company.
but I didn't totally expect. 4 points to Fort, which, yeah, that's about right. Very close to Brian here, who I thought was going to have the advantage, but my sense of scale's off for this thing. 3 points to Brian, like I said. 2 points to Kaiser and 1 point to Mew. Fort, what is your third stat call?
Well, given I had so much luck on a previously similar stat, I think I'm gonna go with El Stamelio's weight computation.
Okay, yeah, I kind of figured that
Hey, Fort. Veto.
Okay. I didn't even get to the countdown.
God damn it.
Ellis Melly's weight computation is vetoed. All right, Fort, try something else.
Year built.
Year built. Clever. Going once, going twice. Mew is crying.
I think I should be crying too because it's not good.
Well, Kaiserin, what is it?
Well, let's just say the Great War ended a year ago, 1919.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll see worse. Whoops. Let me just put that aside. Brian.
It's 1929. How's it going?
Not so great.
About
Look at
about
how
to be
everything-
depressing.
Yeah, well, say hi. I'm here from the future, 1932.
Yeah. Not much. Not much in
You're
the
built
future.
in 1932. You're gonna get a 4.
Well, a 4 is better than nothing. Marine.
I am 1 year off the Second World War, 1938.
1938, and finally, you.
Hello from the Civil War, 1862.
Hello
What's-
from the other
What's
side
so civil
of the
about
century.
war anyway? 5 points to the Chicago and Northwestern Railroad Company. 4 points to Fort. 3 points to Brian. 2 points to Kaiser and 1 point to Mew. That's the same as attractive effort. That's interesting. Marine, what is your third stat call?
It's like I don't want to call some things, but it's like I really should because just so people can use vetoes on me.
I mean, I don't think...
Do it.
I don't know what you want to call, but I think you can survive the onslaught. I'm just going to say that much.
Screw it, Valve Gear.
That's not what I expected. Going once?
Okay.
Going twice? I like how the people who would need to kick this out are not able to kick this out. Valve Gear. Where is it? There it is. Oh, there better not be anything goofy in here.
Oh, there probably
Oh,
is.
son of a gun. Kaiserin?
Let me make sure I'm writing
Oh,
it down right.
Oh no.
Oh,
Is he a singer?
Oh, okay. Oh, thank God. Thank God. Thank God. You scared the crap out of me.
Well, I mean, you got the right valve gear for that, Ellis.
This is okay. Yeah, but also, I forget where this thing comes from. Now I remember. I know I had nothing to worry about. Brian,
I too am going with the meme version of the answer: Worcester Sharks.
all right. Fort, what is this?
I mean, I'm going to have to be pretty vanilla here, but also Wally.
Okay, normal.
You should have said
Wally.
Wall-E, like
Wall-E.
Wally.
No,
Wow.
we're not allowed to have fun here. Marine.
Oh,
Baker.
All right. Well, you know what?
Of
You know
course.
what? You know what? It doesn't matter what Mew says because my answer is very simple at this point. But Mew,
I've been nuked. Stevenson.
that's so much not as bad as I was worried. But yeah, so that's 5-4-4-4. So the 5 points to the Baker engine, 4 points apiece to the 3 locomotives with wall shirts, and 1 sad point for Mew, which is just mean.
Well, I gave him a 5 last call.
I mean,
My
that's
last
true.
call.
True.
That's true. But this is about the worst thing you could do. I mean,
Yeah,
5-4-4-1.
No, the worst thing-
I
The
kind
only
of
way
was
it could have been
assuming-
worse.
it's
if it
Nuke
was
versus
for
Coughing
Wallies.
Baby.
I kind of assuming that Kaiserin had something that wasn't Wally, like some weird obscure thing, but
No, and there's a reason
it's
why
okay
she
to be
doesn't.
wrong.
But this is like a bad die in Mario Party. It's like Bowser's alternate die or whatever. But that's almost the end of round 3. Mew, what is your stat call?
Minimum weight of rail.
Minimum weight of rail. All right, you can finally come back up the ranks here after getting 3 1s in a row. Going once, going twice. Minimum weight of rail. Honestly, if Marine had vetoed that, I would have concluded that he just hates you. So, Kaiserin, what is your minimum weight of rail?
53.
Brian?
hello, Ivan. 90.
Fort?
64.
Fuck.
Okay, good. I'm the only one with triple digits.
Marine?
120.
Ooh. 120. Mew?
43.
43. That's closer
Fantastic.
to Kaiserin than I would have expected.
It's
But,
Richard Petty.
5 points to you.
Well, the Pacific's narrow gauge, right?
Yeah, and you only have 1 set
Yeah.
of drivers, so it makes sense. But anyway, 4 points. 3 points to Fort, 2 points to Brian, and 1 point to Marine there. At the end of round 3, this is what it looks like. Marine has come out to the commanding lead we all expected. And Brian at the
I'm not
bottom,
making it to style points.
still floundering, is now in danger of not making it to style points.
How are me and Fort still tied?
I don't know. You both got 16
Alice?
points this game. Yeah?
If this is still the way it is at the end of the game, I have a suggestion for host choice.
All right, we'll put that in your back pocket. We'll burn that bridge when we come to it. 53 points to Marine is in the lead. 46 points to Kaiserin and Fort for some reason.
Why is this still here?
Tie for second place. 45 points for Mew,
Oh, I don't know. Nobody removed it.
who is not only... Wait, is there a Fort was here somewhere?
Yeah, go to
Oh,
the right.
God damn it.
I was surprised you never got rid of
I
that.
never scroll that far to the right. I didn't notice there was an F under HST. Press F to
High-speed
pay
train.
respects to the HST after it gets
F.
creamed by a freight train in Mexico.
It gets right lined by
Yeah.
another train.
So the 45 points for Marine is in for Mew, who is in 4th place, with the worst round of the game so far. Well, tied for the worst round of the game so far, but still within the envelope of making it to style points. And finally, 41 points for Brian, who is outside of the envelope. Something is going to have to happen for Brian to make it in. Kaiserin, what is your 4th and final stat call?
Well, I've only got one good one left, and I know if I call it, either Fort or Brian will veto it.
Okay.
But I'm gonna call it anyway. Builder.
Builder. I was thinking about this a minute ago. Going once, going twice.
Veto.
All right, the veto from Brian. Oops.
Listen, the odds of people calling the one stat that I technically don't have are rather low. And I'm just scared that. So I'm hoping
What
that
is
nobody
it?
does,
Is
and I
it
don't get a
several?
1 this round.
Well, Kaiser.
It's several, isn't it?
Well,
Okay,
I know what this
so-
one is. It's Angus.
Angus.
And I know you're
Well,
a
I mean, you probably would have beaten Fort and Mew.
No, Fort's a Skoda. And
Don't
Yeah,
builders
definitely.
outrank shops?
And Mew is like a what was it, like Robert Stevenson Company, or was it Sharp Stewart?
Bayer Peacock.
Bear
Oh yeah, like
yeah,
another
like
normal
Angus,
one. Yeah, Angus.
Angus
not,
is a shop.
Angus would not have a good time. Angus is down there on the list somewhere. What is your follow up stat, Kaiserin?
I don't know because
Damn.
this locomotive is mid.
Well,
Let's call tubes.
tubes. All right,
A veto.
all right. There's a veto from Fort. You're really just making our life hard. All right.
That was the one I was
Good
gonna
point.
veto, but I'm like, I ain't gonna veto that. I'm gonna put pity on you. Someone else veto
Okay,
it.
okay.
Yeah,
Vetoed it. I was like, okay.
effing, Marine from someone else's high horse with 53 points in the lead. I will decide not to
Okay.
veto that.
Okay. I will be honest, this locomotive kind of sucks now. But let's go with it's got to be bigger than something. Let's go. Well, no, it would give the rich richer. No.
Capitalism.
I think I know what I would pick in your situation.
Same as above, but sub firebox area for grade area because it's the biggest number on my page.
All right, I still think the rich will get richer, but
Uh,
going once.
Veto. I'm vetoing just out of the sake of don't.
For the sake of don't.
Marine,
Amazing.
Marine, I appreciate your selflessness. It's very kind of you, considering you're not the one who brought this locomotive here.
Okay, we're
Milky-
gonna go
Milky's-
with
You know the meme of Walter
tender
White
loaded
yelling
weight.
from inside the car?
Oh, you said tender loaded weight.
Okay, tender loaded weight. Going once, going twice. There are no tank engines here. There's not too much shenanigans that can happen. Tender loaded weight from Kaiserin.
106,600.
106,600. Brian.
Remember in the 280 Royale how I made a big hubbub about how this tender is not the one that had in service, and
Yeah.
how it came off of a mainline Mikado?
Yeah.
It's almost as heavy as my engine, 237,000. That is 3,000 pounds off my engine.
Big tender. Fort.
Yeah, well, at 99,208.
I don't know why, but your tender makes me want to like sit on it and scoot around. Like it feels like I could sit on it and it looks.
Oh, like one
it's-
of those scooters
it-
from gym class?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean,
like,
is it like one of the early K4 tenders
if
where there's just was just flat?
if there's anyway, if there's like a 7.5-inch gauge model of that, I want to scoot around on the tender. Marine.
Xbox 360,000.
All right. Mew.
67,461.
Yay, a tender number. All right, 5 points for Mew, 4 points for Fort, 3 points for Kaiserin, mid indeed, 2 points for Brian, and 1 point for Marine
Marine.
there. I don't know why my brain just short circuited. I literally just had a moment of, wait a minute, weren't the rich going to get richer? Oh, right, that whole sequence happened. All right, Brian, what's your second? What's your? God, I am cooked now. My brain has stopped working entirely. No one has ever vetoed something because it would give them a 5. This is the finale. Brian, what's your stat call?
Thank God all the vetoes are gone. Number built.
Number built. Okay. Listen,
was
if
wondering
somebody
if this would
vetoed
come back.
you, all right, number built, Kaiserin.
3.
Okay, Brian.
161.
161. Fort.
Hi, Kaiser. 4.
4. Okay.
What?
Marine?
You be golfing?
9.
9.
Mew.
1.
1. Just 1.
1. Oh.
Well, I'm
5 points. 5 points to Brian. Much deserved
Finally.
5 point to Brian. 4 points to Marine. 3 points to Fort. 2 points to Kaiserin, and 1 point to the one and only Dom Luigi. Fort, what is your last stat call?
I don't know. I mean, yeah,
Everything we call for the Hudson will get a 5 at. Other
well,
than weight.
Except for weight.
you know what? Who was currently in the lead last round?
The Hudson.
Marine.
Yeah,
Hudson.
So
Marine.
I'm gonna go with just so we can try to close the gap a little here. We're gonna go with total engine and tender weight.
Total
No,
and
jeez,
tender weight.
no. Oh, wait, never mind.
Going once,
Never mind.
going twice.
Wrong slot.
All right, total engine and
I
tender weight.
panicked for a second thinking that was the one that I didn't technically have.
Well, you should be
It's
able to
not.
do quick maths for that one. What is
Yeah.
your total locomotive weight, Kaiserin?
I'm looking for it.
It does not exist.
Just making sure I got it right. 259,100.
Okay. Brian?
240 times 2 is 480, so 240 plus 237 should be 477.
Quick maths. Ford?
Oh, whoops! I had it. I was about to post it in the wrong sec. Oh, what? That's not it.
Still did.
Yeah, I did. I'm sorry. Wrong thing. 251,326.898.
Marine?
Yes. 772,000.
And Mew?
Oh Lord, he coming. 130,853 and almost half.
And almost half. Well, 5 points for you, Mr. Almost Half. 4 points for the Lithuanian. 3 points for the Mozambique. What is the demonym for someone from Mozambique? 4 points to the...
I was going to ask that earlier. I don't actually know what to call somebody from Mozambique. Is it Mozambican or Mozambiquese?
Oh yeah, I think it is Mozambique. Or it's a Mozambiquer, which I think is what you do science with. 2 points to Brian and 1 point to the big old CNW thing. Marine, with the big old CNW thing, what is your last stat call?
Now at this point, it's either
Marine,
Hang on.
can you do us all a favor and
Pause for a second. Pause
yourself
for a
hold on.
second.
Hold on, pause for a second. Is there a mom calling?
No. I found out what it is. Like, it's Mozambican.
Mozambican. Okay. I think I had that with my eggs for breakfast. All right, Marine, you can go back to... Oh, everyone can go back to groveling for Marine's stat call.
So
Marine,
when I
can
was
you do yourself a favor and shoot yourself in the foot for all of us?
that I'm doing some quick mental math to see if what would yeah, I'm doing mental math.
See, and
I'll
I can't
call
even
something
threaten
you
you,
know
because
is
if the
bad.
timer runs out, what I usually say is I'll pick the stat that is least helpful to the person calling, but that's exactly what Marine is trying to find. So my point is you're almost out of time.
Piss.
Damn, the judge colluding with a contestant.
This is
I want to. I want something that I'm actually interested in finding out.
What about Power
Flute
L1?
what'd you say?
I was gonna say, what about Power L1?
Um,
That usually sucks for big locomotives, doesn't it?
That's Power
Well, that
MT.
was Power MT,
No,
but
yeah.
and his is really good if I remember correctly. However, I would suggest axle loading. Even if you don't have the stat, we can do math.
Well, Marine said flute tube length, so going once,
Oh,
going twice.
Uh, yeah,
All
because I
right,
feel like there's. I don't know.
flute tube
I
length.
feel like
Listen,
there might be some interesting stuff.
if you weren't, I mean, that's going to help you. But if you weren't trying to figure out something that, my point is, I'd like everyone to know that I just gave this man a lot of rope. What he does with it is his business. Kaiserin,
18.
bombs?
18. Brian,
What the hell? 14.55.
that's really small. Fort,
14.76.
why are all these single decimal points?
How?
Go on,
Oh shit, sorry.
go on.
Okay,
Marine.
19.
Yeah, that's kind of what I expected.
Damn.
Oh, he's only a foot longer than I am.
Yeah, I actually expected it to be higher. All
That
right,
is weird.
Mew,
Almost 11.
almost 11.
No.
Thank
That's
God I'm not last, but also ow.
You
almost.
have to wonder, how big is the combustion chamber on the American?
I don't know. Probably big.
The-
5 points for the American though. I just realized this is the only American here. 5 points for the American. 4 points for the Mozambican. 3 points to the Lithuanian. 2 points to the Canadian, and 1 point to the Portuguese. To the Portugal one. Speaking of which, Mew, you've got the last stat call, aside from mine.
Axle
Yeah.
loading. Do it, Mew.
Yeah, no, I was gonna, axle loading.
You're gonna do axle loading? Oh, well, I mean, honestly, that should still help you. Does anyone not have axle loading?
I do not. I'm having to pull out a
Nope.
Alright,
calculator.
quick maths from everybody.
It's weight on drivers divided by your number of drivers, right?
Yeah, weight on drivers is divided by number of driving axles. So, you would divide by 4. Mew doesn't have to do any math at all, because, going once, going twice, axle loading. Kaiserin?
Lower is better for this one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's really funny because the axle loading on the stat sheet that's not calculated is actually higher than the one that is calculated. So it is 31,500.
And I will explain for a second. It should be. Because what you've just calculated is the minimum theoretical possible axle loading if this locomotive was balanced perfectly across its driving axles. Your actual axle loading is going to be a little bit higher than that, unless you only have one driving axle, for example. And the reason we do this is because it is the minimum theoretical possibility. Anyway, sorry, words. Brian.
54.
54. I think I am just fried. Ford.
38,000 and change.
38 and change. Marine.
72,000.
72,000. And
Oh wow, I got a 3 or
and
2, 4.
Mew.
Almost 26,000.
No surprises here. It's when we do it like this, it's going to be the same, more or less, as minimum weight of rail. And in this case, the points come out the same. 5 points to Dom Luige, 4 points to Mozambique, 3 points to Lithuania, 2 points to Canada, and 1 point to Chicago.
Can I point something out
Go ahead.
for posterity real quick? Mew this entire game has only gotten one number that was not a 5 or a 1.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's what it's
Lot of
like being at
extremes.
the edge.
Min-maxing.
Yeah, very much
Yeah,
min-maxing.
min-maxing in a 2-2-2 against a Hudson.
This is
I'm munchkinning, not just min-maxing. I'm straight out munchkinning.
so here's where we
Rumbling.
stand. 65 points for the leader. That would be
Okay. Math worked.
Marine. Wait, did you really try to figure out how to make Brian savable?
I tried, but I didn't. But I was like, I couldn't really figure out how I can save how Brian can be saved. So I'm like, fuck it.
Well,
I either
Yeah,
I either
I can be
save
saved by
Fort or
host choice,
save
else you
Kaiser,
know what to do.
and I'm like, well, and also assume that I also assume Brian's engine's gonna have longer flue tube length. I was very wrong.
yeah, no, Brian has the. Well, actually, no, not tied for the worst. Tied for the unintentional worst, because Marine, you've had the worst round of the game. Oops, how did that happen? 12 points for you, gave you 65 points at the end of round 4. Then, 63 points for second place. That is Fort. Fort's in second, which is not something that I expected to see.
Now Mew and I
Yeah,
are tied.
a tie between Kaiserin and Mew. There's been a tie every
Handshake
single
emoji.
round so far.
I've been in the tie.
Kaiserin, the master of ties. And
Can you tie?
in last place, I can't. In last place, 54 points. I have to look up a guide every single time I tie a tie. I think sometime it'll burn in. What were you saying, Brian? What did I tell you to put in your back pocket?
Hang on, let me do some math here.
All right, well, I have my own thought about how to help you, but I need to do something that's going to, knock the CNNW down a peg, and, raise you up a little bit, which is a little bit
The
tough.
problem is, I don't think it's going to work that way.
I think
But I just wanted to point out, there's only one stat in this entire Royale that I've gotten a 5 in.
And there is a
Oh.
stat.
And it is the double up one.
There is a stat.
Well,
that-
there's a problem with that. A very big problem.
Yeah, but
with
I
that.
only need to have 1 point over you to get in.
Ooh, this
think-
this presents me with an interesting conundrum, because I think I know what I want to call. It's just a question of I need to be careful not to help anyone else too much. Because if, for example, there were a stat that gave Fort a 5, or Fort a 5, and Brian a 1, it would keep Brian out.
Hey, Chris, I have a suggestion, even though it might hurt me. And that suggestion is Loco Base ID.
Loco Base ID is
No.
far too
No.
chaotic.
No.
Because it was guaranteed to give Fort a 1, and it is guaranteed to give me a 2.
Yeah, but I'm not worried
pretty
about the two of you.
I'm pretty
I-
sure that Marines is in the hundreds, and I can tell you right now, mine is in the thousands. So
I think I know what I'm gonna do. I just need to make sure that Brian gets 1 more than Marine, and I need to make sure that Fort does not get like 3 more than Brian. So I'm gonna call ET's weight computation.
Wait, we did that already.
No, it was vetoed.
No, it was vetoed.
Oh.
oh, so we can't do number build or
Uh,
number in class.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to call ET's weight computation, because we finally have an interesting spread with the different wheel arrangements here. And I know Fort is going to get a 5, but I know you are going to do better than the Hudson. So, Kaiserin, what is your? I'm watching as you type it in. Your result for ET's weight computation is
0.62.
0.62. Brian.
Now, I didn't put in the thousands because they're all zeros, and it doesn't really matter because it's the same result anyway. 0.9.
0.9. Fort.
1.
1.
1.
No
Oh.
surprise there, yeah. And Marine.
0.52.
0.52, which is not the worst here because
Don Luigi is 0.41.
0.41. And I'm sorry that you took a stray there, Mew, but that was not my intention.
It do be like
Fort
that
gets a
sometimes.
5. Brian gets a 4. Kaiserin gets a 3. Marine gets a 2. And Mew gets a 1. Again, somebody I was not worried about, but this is the spread now. We have just barely got Brian in. Fort is in the lead with 68 points, which is an unintended consequence of what I selected. Marine is in second place with 67 points, which this thing is going to need all the disadvantages we can give it. 65 points for Kaiserin, 63 points for Mew, and then 58, just by the skin of his teeth, Brian, in last place. Let me get everybody ready. I'm going to mark off everybody as ready in style points, and then we will go from there. It is
Now let's see how many style points I can pull out of my backside for this thing. I know nothing about.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting
Same
style
here.
point round. I am really curious to see how the Lithuanian engine and the CNNW engine stack up with one another. I'm interested to see how many style points Mew is going to appear with, but I'm going to imagine there's going to be not a lot of overlap between Mew's giant pile of style points and the newer engines. But at any rate, the first to bat is the person with the fewest points. That is you, Brian. What is your first style point?
Alright. I'm gonna go with I am a movie star, media appearance.
Media appearance. Hey, that's a good one.
Hey,
Media appearance. So there is some overlap. If you have a media appearance, feel free to give yourself a point. What is your second one, Brian?
Give me a second.
Brian's typing.
Ox tender equipment.
Okay, yep, you've got the aux tender equipment. You've got the pipes. I don't know if anyone else has that. I wouldn't imagine anyone else has that. What's your third one?
I'm operational.
Oh, currently operating. Yeah, that's just looking at the field here. No one else can say that.
oh,
Yeah.
that's a separate point from operating preservation. Okay.
No, it's not. It's not a separate point.
That is
well,
the point. I'm currently operating.
Well, I've operated in preservation.
When?
For the 100th anniversary of Portuguese Railways, coincidentally, the media appearance shows it operating.
that's kind of funny.
Damn.
And
So
in
that's why I asked that question.
that's funny. I don't think we've ever split hairs like that before. I don't know why. I don't know why I don't remember this coming up before. But that's I think I'm going to solve this problem in a way that makes me not have to figure much out and give you half a point. If anyone else here has operated in preservation, you can get a half a point, but I'm not sure anyone else here survived preservation.
Nobody else did.
What is your fourth one, Brian?
Fort, you're not allowed to get this one because that side is completely open. All-weather cab.
What do you mean? Oh, as in
The
Fort
gap
does,
between the
Fort does not
engine
have a
and tender
door
is
that he can
open.
close. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
do.
mine's just enclosed by the tender.
Well, I will give Fort a half a point for that.
Oh, thank you.
It is a
I
little
am
bit better
Hey,
than.
Fort, you can get a point that nobody else has. You can get the point for a reversing cab.
well, it's not Fort's
That's
turn
when
yet.
his thing comes
Soon,
I
up.
know, but I
soon,
know.
TM. Brian, what
Also,
is your?
I'm just glad that negative points aren't a thing.
Yeah. Tin foil. Brian, what is your fifth consecutive?
Am I allowed to ask if something is a style
You
point
are
or
allowed
not?
to ask. Yes.
Is the whistle shield a style point?
Yes.
Whistle shield.
Okay. Call whistle shield. And I assume you're the only person who has a whistle shield. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where the whistle is on the CNW, but wherever it is, it probably doesn't have a shield on it.
I'm pretty sure it has a horn.
Oh, of course it does. Anyway, that's your 5.
The F7's had a horn.
You got a straight streak. Second person to call is the person with the second most points. That would be, or the second fewest points, I
Second
suppose.
least.
Mew, Dom Luigi, what is your first callable style point?
Okay, I'm going to say award winner.
Okay, yeah, I did give you that point.
Yeah.
I did give you that point. You know what? I think in the future, if somebody says award winner, I'm gonna file that under. I'm gonna file speed record under award winner, in the event that I can, because award winner is a weird point. What is your second one?
I remember you giving this before, one of a kind.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is a special locomotive with stars on the end of the word special, and no one else here can even begin to claim to be one of a kind because, well,
Number built.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, now, incidentally, this does not mean if you have one built, you are automatically one of a kind. I don't want people getting that idea. This is a special locomotive for various reasons. What else have you got, Mew?
And I'll put that special reason, the fact that it's the royal train.
Okay, yes, a VIP point. Now, if I'm going to have to ask, Brian, you have a VIP point, don't you? Or
Yes, I pulled the British Columbia Museum train.
that's a special event. It's not a VIP. I thought you were like a royal consolidation or something.
No, the reason that came up is because I was the backup engine for Royal Hudson 2860 during its excursion career.
Oh, okay. I take it didn't ever get
That's why I
used.
look all fancy, is because they're meant to replace or double head with the Royal Hudson on a regular basis.
You know what? I'll give you a half a point. I'll give you a half a point for the you were built to, or you were set up to run the VIP whether or not it happened. I'm using my executive privilege to give out half a point, which is something that I decided I should do more this season. What is your fourth one, Mew?
The driving wheel shroud / splasher.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can take that. Nobody else has.
Yeah,
anything
nobody
like
else
that.
really has that.
Yeah, the splasher. What else have you got?
Let me look here.
I'm gonna power on through these. I know one you could call.
I think I know two. I'm just confirming. Oh wait, that's shares.
I know 2 you can call. I know 3.
Oh, I never
call.
noticed that before. Oh, I'm gonna have to see if that's a style point. Probably is.
Ooh, I don't know if that's. You know what? I'm gonna call it brass accents.
Brass accents. So the trim, I assume you have like the brass boiler bands and things like that, right?
Mainly, I'm talking about the stack. Some of it's gold lettering, some of it's brass.
The stack. Can I see it?
Do you want me to
Yeah,
post
I need a photo. I need an example here to know if I can give this to you or not.
Hold on, I know I posted a preservation era photo.
The brass.
Just gotta
It
scroll
depends
up.
what condition you're taking.
That's
Correct.
yeah. Well, this is just a black and white photo. Is the problem?
Yeah. Where is it? I'm just I'm just using. Come on.
If you
Here we go.
look up at the picture of the Half-Life caboose, you can see it.
Oh yeah,
A
hold on,
snip.
hold on.
Yeah.
We've got
Half-Life
different.
caboose.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Also, I replied to the picture I had posted.
All right. Let me go way back up. Okay. Yeah, sure. I'll give you that. It's not great, but
It's
Do I
got
get half
the
a point for my silver cladding?
no. Well,
got-
we can.
it's got the brass stack and the brass safety valve shrouding.
Your
Which-
cladding, I count under paint, Brian. We'll get to that later, I
Okay.
suppose. Yeah. Okay. Brass act.
Do I get half a point for for my stat cap?
Was that brass or was that just a flare?
I mean, I see a lip. So it looks like it might be a separate piece. I'm not entirely sure.
I would
Probably
file
not brass, though.
this under a stack flare, which is its own
Okay.
style point. Speaking
Okay.
of which, we move on to number 3, which is Kaiserin. What have you got? You have a stack flare.
Yes, I do, but that's not the first one I'm going to call.
Oh,
The first one I'm going to call is test subject.
Oh God,
Oh yeah.
I forgot about that. Okay, sure. I'll give you the test subject point because I gave it to you before.
Yeah, because it was used for multi-fuel testing, or not multi-fuel, but like different types of coal from different places
mhm.
to see which one was better.
That's
And it ended up being Welsh coal.
I mean,
well, of course.
yeah. Henry could have told you that.
Okay, what's something I have that everybody else does? Because this thing, if you couldn't tell by the picture, was built by Baldwin.
Yep. There's the
This
plate right
too.
there. That's why when you said wall shirts, I went, oh yeah, duh. Like it's just an export engine. It's got all the American fittings and trappings.
This
of it.
too is a Baldwin.
question, though.
What's that?
I have a question.
hmm
Is Russian iron boiler jacket part of the paint?
I would generally file it under paint point because it's difficult to separate.
Okay, I won't call that. Instead, I will say that I have a hand-rung bell.
Ooh, that's a good point. Because at least
Nobody else has a hand-run bell.
Brian
I
has
don't
a
think.
hand-run
Actually,
bell.
I do.
And
Uh,
my,
I have,
mine's
Oh, yeah,
I
Brian
have
does.
hand rung and air simultaneously.
mine's just air. So
yeah, no, that's big sad. Maureen, do you know where the bell is on this thing? I think it might be underneath one of
It's an air bell.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out. I know it. I did find something that said it has a bell,
All right. Well,
but I couldn't find if it was hand rung or if it was air.
I
It's
would
gotta be air.
I would bet it's just air based on the profile of this thing. There's nowhere to put a bell unless you're going to hang it off the engineer's side. Anyway, what is your third one, Kaiserin?
Oh,
Hmm.
I don't know if it's considered a point. But this is just asking. I'm not calling
Okay.
this.
All right. You can ask.
Is my coupler thing a style?
No. Well.
No.
You can call it and see what happens.
I'm gonna do something safe then. Engraved, not engraved, embossed. What do you call it? The number boards.
Yeah. You've got
I've
one
got
on-
one on the front and two on the sides of the.
You've got
Yeah.
3 embossed number plates, which are the numbers on your thing embossed for it? They look like they're made out of paper.
no, I think they're very. I'm looking at one picture, and the one plate that's on like a very steep like angle away from the camera. It looks like it's just painted.
Okay, so
I'm not
Painting
seeing any
gold
relief.
relief, maybe.
well, maybe, but that's a big maybe. I'm not going to worry about that right now.
So you've got the
And
one
then-
fort.
Oh, what?
No, Fort doesn't have any embossed number plates as far as we can
No,
tell.
his front one's embossed. You can
Yeah.
barely
Is it?
see the shadow.
I
Is it?
it
Oh,
might
wait,
be.
maybe there is a little bit of shadow there. Okay,
I
yes,
don't
so that's like half a point for me
it
then.
might be. Well, hold on, because you have 2,
I think-
don't you,
I-
Mew?
No, I have. Oh.
I do have two, one on either side of the tender in that picture that I
So
submitted.
Kaiserin has 3, Mew has 2. That's the half a point.
I was gonna say I think the fort's front number plate is made out of sheet metal and it's warped. That's why it has a shadow on it.
Yeah,
No,
also
not
a
the shadow
possibility.
in the middle. I mean, like, it looks like there's shadows coming off the numbers.
I
Yeah,
don't.
because if you look at well, actually, wait. Let me see. I'll wait. Let me upload a higher
We
resolution
don't need to
picture.
worry about this. You're not getting a point either way.
Yeah, because you're tied with me. We both have 1.
Just 1.
Uno.
Kaiserin, what is your 4th?
I will go with for my next one is Stack Flare.
Stack Flare. Okay, there it is.
Yay!
So the other 2 people with Stack Flares get a point for their Stack Flare. No, Brian, the little lip doesn't count. What is your 5th
How
and
did you know that
final?
I was just looking at that? I wasn't going to say that. it
Because I
counted,
know
because
you.
I figured it didn't.
Kaiser, what's your 5th and final?
Let me look at the pictures real quick. I need to check something.
I'm looking to see. No one's knocked out yet, but the CNW
Feel like
engine has
I'm
got
about to be.
0 style points so far, and
I'm going
Mew
to
has
say
8.
I'm going to say I have a cow catcher.
Ooh, a cow
I
catcher.
have one too.
That's
Very good one.
Not
is
like a cast pilot, but an actual cow catcher.
yeah. You have a cow heater.
Neither.
Cow heater. So you and the Canadian have that, and
Beef
2
grill
locomotives do
Nobody else
not,
does.
and then 1 person has not a cow catcher, but something similar. So
There's my 5 only point.
that's it for Kaiserin. Now we go on to Marine, who, like I mentioned, has 0 points so far. Marine, you're the most modern engine here. I feel like you should have an easy walk down to 5 points.
We'll see. All right. Streamlined.
Streamlined is a very good point.
Yeah. I get a half a point. No.
And no, I
Streamlined,
was
man.
just looking at you for it. I was like, that is kind of smooth, but no. The CNW
That
thing
would
is very
fall-
streamlined comparatively.
That would fall into like half a point territory.
No, it doesn't fall into any point territory. It's just a little smooth.
Okay.
Uh,
All right. Headlight package.
headlight package.
If
Okay.
that counts as
Oh yeah.
if that counts as streamlining, then so does my little plate over the top of my air compressor.
If that counts as streamlining, so does Mew. But you know, he doesn't have a cab. It saves weight.
Hang on, what did you say?
I mean, a human body is more aerodynamic than a box.
You have the headlight package, which I think is gonna cover bonus headlights and things in the future. It's a good.
What do
it's
you
a good
mean
catch.
exactly by package? Because if
got
you
a
see
Mars
in my
light.
true, because I was gonna say in my picture I have at least 2 headlights as well.
you look like you
Unfortunately,
have.
this condition was pre-ditch light for me.
Yeah, you have the equivalent of ditch lights, I think, Mew, I would imagine, in that photo. So headlight.
Wait, do I? Oh, never mind.
No, nobody else has. Nobody else has a bonus headlight.
Safety.
Safety. Okay, well, let me look at the other offerings here.
Because
Okay,
I remember
you has no
distinctly.
cab.
I remember distinctly that you can walk across the whole side of the locomotive and down to the front. And, you know, there's the handrails down the side at the front, and then along the top, and then
yeah,
and then in the front.
yeah, you get a point for safety. Yeah.
I just realized something that kind of messes with me about the C&W locomotive.
Go on.
Why is there a grab iron right in between the headlights?
You know, so you can change the light. Have you seen Polar
Yeah,
Express?
change the light bulb.
It's the 20th anniversary of the release this year.
Yeah,
Is
you
Is that why they're
scaffolding.
coming
Wow,
out with
way to
Polar
make
Express
me
2?
feel old, Ellis. I remember when it came out on DVD.
Kaiserin, on the
4K
inside
3D
of
one.
the front door to my house hangs the big bell I got as a souvenir when I went to see it in theaters when it came out. Uh,
Like, is it the
I
bell
would-
that you can only hear if it's magic, or is it a locomotive bell?
no, yeah, no, it's the bell that you can only hear if it's magic, but it's like the size of a grapefruit. It's big.
What the?
Like you could kill
I-
someone
I-
with it.
It's larger than the one
Amazing.
in the movie.
Yeah, like much larger.
Yeah,
Anyway,
can you imagine if Santa's sleigh was just covered in those?
Santa's sleigh is covered in locomotive bells.
imagine Santa's,
Yes.
you know, like effing, what is it, Elf, like Santa's sleigh crashes in New York, which I'm not a fan of that movie, but I am a fan of Zoe Deschanel. But
God.
like, imagine it crashes and all the bells go flying like a cluster grenade, just like
Shrapnel.
taking people out.
Look,
Uh,
look, Ellis.
Whatever
As
you're
long
using
as we
now is
don't,
Santa's sleigh, but every time it goes past, it sounds like a railroad crossing with a Doppler effect.
Ellis, as
Santa
long as we
sleigh,
don't run
Santa
over one
doesn't-
in the wagon.
Oh God.
Santa doesn't drive a sleigh. He drives a flechette shell full of bells.
Oh, by the way, Kaiser, you get a half a point for safety. I just want to put that out there.
I do.
Santa's
Yeah,
had to
I-
modernize. He has e-bells on his sleigh now.
I was taking this time to deliberate between you and Brian, and I think you have it better because you have actual stairs down the front, and also there's no toolbox to
Yeah.
trip over. Although if you get
That's fair.
your foot caught in that linkage, that's probably not great either. What is your fourth one, Marine? Now that we're back on topic, it's not even Halloween
Folding
yet.
coupler.
We can't be doing Christmas.
Folding's tomorrow.
Folding
Folding
coupler.
coupler, yes.
Coupler.
I mean, I have the link. I have a link. Oh, not link. It's
For
not
no.
like- oh.
I just realized.
If you're risking the
a
if
style
you're
point,
severely risking the life of the person trying to couple the train, it probably is not better.
Everyone has seen that one video of the Russian dude coupling train cars, or German dude, or whatever. Anyway, what is your fifth and final?
I'm gonna do this one because I found it out and it was very unique. After it was decommissioned for service, it was utilized to thaw out frozen ore as a stationary boiler.
Okay.
But like the locomotive wasn't disassembled; it just was moved to wherever, welded
They
to the
worked it
rails,
Oh
to
my-
the factory.
and then
To the
just
rails?
used to
Well,
thaw frozen ore.
Oh my God.
Amazing.
I mean, that's one way of doing
You
it.
know what? You know what? Fine. I don't think I've given stationary boiler point before, but I think that's fair. Especially considering there are about 17 other style points you could get, and just
No.
17 other style points you could solo.
Oh, Brian's
Uh,
gone.
Oh no! I was just about to say I can't believe we've made it this far without knocking anybody out, but that nicks Brian from the game after all of the trouble that Marine went through to save Brian. He's the one who
We
kills
all
him.
went through.
F.
Anyway, all right.
I have a
Okay,
sneaking
okay,
suspicion that
before-
Mew was going to
before-
win.
Hang on. Before it comes up at all, Mew, I want to know, when were you retired from regular service?
Go watch the last
Are you
episode.
sure you want to know that?
Go watch the last
Yeah.
I
episode.
watched the last
Uh,
episode.
No, it
I
is.
I was
forget.
found out then.
It is Mew's turn. Oh no, sorry. It is Fort's turn.
No,
now.
it's Ford's
It is
turn.
Yeah,
Fort's turn
finally.
now. Yes. It's okay. We've got
Yeah.
5 points
Yeah,
left to
me,
call. We've got not a lot of game left. Fort has only picked up
I'll say
1.5
after.
style points, but the spreadsheet says it's still possible for him to win or at least tie. So we'll see.
Okay,
Good luck.
so there's this one that I discovered. Hopefully I discovered. Ellis, would I be able to get a style point for having the national coat of arms?
Where?
Okay, look, I got some higher
What do
res
you mean?
pictures on. Okay, so so if you look at my picture, look at that plaque underneath the cab window.
Oh, that's what that is?
That's a
Yes.
national coat of arms of
All
Lithuania.
right, I'm calling it an adornment. Yes, you can get a point for that.
Okay,
Oh,
but
I got
I,
a
Uh,
point.
here I got
What about-
Did
here
you
I
say
have higher res
adornment?
pictures. I'll post them in streaming and recording.
Okay. You,
Does embossed railroad
Oh,
logo
that's cool.
fall into that, or is that a separate?
Oh, it's got the horse
So,
rider. That's
the-
awesome.
sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. Um,
Okay.
And the reason I'm gonna say it doesn't at this particular juncture is because Ford also has that, right? That's the thing on your cylinders, is the railroad logo, isn't it?
Well, no, the thing on the cylinders is Skoda's logo.
Okay, never mind. Then yes, it does count as an
Oh.
adornment. Um,
All right.
Can I call? Do you see on top of the wheel splasher on mine? You see that sort of shiny sausage? I believe that is
Shiny
gold leaf.
sausage.
Can I call that as an
do I
adornment?
see your shiny sausage? No, I
It
already
follows the
already
curve.
gave you a point for your brassiness. So no, I'm
Can't
not.
find
Well,
the
no,
picture
it's
where
gold
it
leaf.
shows it in this condition. But
I'm not making it's the same-ish color. I'm
Alrighty.
not
No, it's on the
splitting
top of
that
my
hair.
spoke
No,
box.
it's I already gave you
Alrighty.
it's not an adornment. I already gave you a point for being shiny. Um,
Fort notice the fact that both you and I have coat of arms on our engines.
okay.
Except mine is the coat of arms of British Columbia.
Well, you don't
Yeah.
have that in your
And
thingy.
it's not on it in the photo I
Yeah.
posted, but it
Oh.
has the brackets for it.
Why did you
Uh,
take
oh.
a point for adornment then, Brian? Oh, it is the
Because I have
bracket
the
for
coat
it.
of arms.
Okay,
I just
okay.
explained.
Okay, well, no, you said it wasn't on your thing, but you got a bracket for it. Okay, whatever. I hate the bracket points for the record. I'm changing them next season.
Gotcha. I'll have
Uh,
to keep that in mind.
Okay,
Ford.
may I?
Go ahead.
Yeah. May I ask, do you have a flag?
Oh,
I have
flag holders?
I do.
Yeah, well, on the very front.
Oh, okay, yeah, you've got those little posts there. I would assume most people have
Or-
flag holders.
Or do you know what those are? Those aren't
I would-
normal flag holders. Those are essentially head code flag holders to mark special trains.
Well, that's neat.
Oh.
Oh, that's
Well, if
even
anybody
better.
else has flag holders,
I-
they can take that.
Because they're not like for like putting your nation's flag on. If you put a flag on that, it marks that train as special. It needs to get where it's going quick.
Um,
Oh.
all right, what else,
Okay.
Ford?
Well, if you look at my cylinders, I have like little ones, but balancing rods.
You do have balancing rods. You can take that point. Nobody else has anything like that. People have some pretty standard cylinders around these parts. Although I don't know.
Oh no, I got them out.
Oh no.
Oh.
Okay. Then as well as wait, actually, let me just double check my competition here.
Fort, look at your wheels.
Yeah, I know.
The wheels on the train go round and round.
The
Yeah.
only one that has that can't win.
I mean, like, you're talking about white walls, right?
Yeah, the only one that also has white walls is Brian, and Brian can't win.
Yeah, I guess I'll call white walls as well.
All right.
Or is that under pain point?
No, it's different. I separated it out, and that
Mew's
folds
out.
Mew.
Yeah. No.
And this is it.
Oh.
If
It's
Fort
between
if
I have a
Fort
picture
can
for
find
this.
if Fort can find something, this will at least go to a tie. But because Fort has 5.5 points and Marine has 6, I don't think there's a way it can. The
Okay,
spreadsheet
which
says
one was
this is
Marine?
possible.
Which one was Marine's engine again? I am having
The
a complete.
Marine
That's
has the
the
big
Hudson.
scary engine.
Fort, I have a
Smooth
style
boy.
point for you. I don't think Marine has. Let me look at his picture real quick to make sure. I can't see because there's a
I know
I'm-
exactly. I know
turntable
exactly what you're
gantry.
talking about.
I mean,
Ford.
I was going to say, yeah, like rear headlights.
You have rear headlights?
Yeah, look at my tender near on the floor. There are the same lights as on the front of the
Oh
locomotive.
yeah, you sure do. Rear light. Does the C&W thing have a rear light?
I don't think it does.
See.
Hold on, I'm going to Google this.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing too.
This is what, 4001 or 3001?
4001.
Chicago Northwestern Railroad, 2001. I kind of want to just, like, the odds are I'm not going to find. I'm finding diesels.
Something that shows the actual.
Yeah, I need to
rear
find something that
fender.
shows the rear.
For what I
Uh,
was gonna say for you is either your reversing cab or the fact that you have shades
Yeah,
over
I
your
would have
front.
gone with the visors. That would have been clever.
Oh yeah, right.
But hold on, I can't find any photos of the rear of this thing. Uh,
there's like one model that I see, but like it's very hard to tell. I mean, it shows a light.
Given the
It
type,
shows the light on the top of the tender, but doesn't show one built into the tender.
given that given that it's a streamlined engine, I would be very surprised if it had a backing light.
yeah, but it's not unusual for a locomotive like this to have a backing light.
Especially
That
when it's got
said,
a Mars light.
we might be about to have the unthinkable, which is if we cannot show that this locomotive has a rear-facing headlight. Oh, here's a MTH one. Let me see. Not that this is the perfect analog. Okay, that doesn't help. I still can't see. I am going to have to use my discretion here. This is insane. I'm going to have to use my discretion here and say that we can't prove it, but I think it's very possible, and give Marine half a point. And I'm not sure what this is about to do.
Here's the image that I was looking at, but that's literally the only
Okay,
thing that I could find.
It looks like
That looks like it has
could
one.
be, but I don't want to just
No,
go
that's
off the model.
that's not a headlight. That's some
Yeah.
type of tank. See, it's got the little it's got like a filler cap or something on top of it,
I mean,
sticking up.
I don't think we could say for certain one way or another.
Yeah.
I think I found a better
Oh, wait.
picture.
Oh, did you?
Wait, you did?
What were you about to say, Marine?
What?
I
Yeah.
found. Well, I didn't find. Oh, of course, I found another
Okay, yeah, that is
model,
a headlight.
Oh, okay.
It's just
rats.
Oh yeah,
And
no, that's the
markers,
same.
it looks like.
It's an older model, but it checks out.
Yeah, it's the same. That's the same one I was looking at.
I think
Rat.
That has to be the smallest backup headlight.
now I am
It is
not.
tiny.
I don't know how accurate these models are. I will say that right
Yeah.
off the bat, and I don't want to. I
Actually-
don't want to decide the game based on what we see on a model here. It's a shame that we can't get a photo of the rear of this locomotive. I am going to stick by my half a point, and I am going to show where we're at, which is the end of the game. It doesn't matter if I gave the half a point or not, because unless
Fort
Ford
one.
completely fumbled the
Oh.
bag, he had a full point of advantage and wins
Oh.
this with 74.5 points. This is about the last locomotive I expected to carry the day.
Oh
Congratulations,
my
Ford.
god.
Well played.
You're about to make me spend
I barely
$15 to
beat
ship a
you
pack of
by
trading cards to Canada. I love international shipping. But
I barely beat Mew.
congratulations, 74.5 points. What a nail biter of a finish. And Marine, you came in here with someone else's locomotive. I think you did really well. And if you hadn't, decided to be so generous, I think you would have carried the day handily. But
I might have only brought one or two other people to style points by doing that.
yeah,
But knowing the pains of getting dumpstered almost immediately and not being able to participate in style points, I didn't want people to feel that same pain.
Mm.
and this is the people who go through pain understand pain. They turn into more generous, kinder people. At least you'd hope so, or they turn into bitter a-holes. But I'm not saying put
Or
people
they
through pain
turn
to make
into
them better
me.
people. But that's still second place for you. Half decent, pretty damn good. Especially because, well, you weren't gunning to win, now were you? Not at all costs, certainly, and I suppose the cost is that you will have to fight another day, maybe with a locomotive of your own choosing. Kaiserin, you said this locomotive was mid, and you got third place, so I don't really think there's anything else to say there.
Quite literally mid.
The
Yeah.
prophecy is true.
Well, I just still find it kind of funny how I've only beaten Mew by half a point,
You did.
and Mew is a broad gauge 222 that is several decades older than mine,
Yeah, this is
than my narrow gauge Pacific.
Oh, speaking of which, Brian, you had asked about when I was retired, right?
Mhm.
1923. 61
so
years in service.
hang on.
Brian's gonna do some
Considering the
quick math.
fact that I was rebuilt, I was built in 1912, and I was retired in 1960.
That's still a lot
That's
shorter than Mew.
48.
Damn.
Yeah.
48.
But nevertheless, Mew, you got fourth place in this Rumble, which I didn't expect. I'll be honest. I think you really held your own there, and things started to fall apart. You wouldn't have made it into, you wouldn't have made it in if it weren't for the benevolence of Marine, I believe. But
Yeah, style points do be like that also.
at the very least, you are certainly a man who
Both.
knows this locomotive and got the style points that you needed to get.
Definitely. Well
Brian,
played, Marine.
Thank you.
Brian, you brought a locomotive which is a decent contender, but for some reason, be it fate or luck or what have you, couldn't stand up despite the fact that you managed to get a pretty staggering style point total that outstrips everybody else here. You get 11.5 style points, and you almost completely made up that deficit. You're only 5 points behind the leader. So, you played well, you played
Hopefully.
hard, and somebody's got to come in fifth, so
And
Until-
hopefully all the luck that I've lost here will instead go to my job interview on Monday.
good luck on your job
Hope it goes
interview.
well.
Oh, you've got one too,
Oh.
Mew?
No, I was just saying hope his goes well.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I have something happening tomorrow that I need luck for.
Well, sorry, we're all out of luck.
Good luck.
No, what do
Yeah,
you?
we're
What do
all
you?
out of luck.
No, and it's a little bit more high stakes than a job interview. I'm going to be on the radio tomorrow,
Oh.
the local radio.
Shoot.
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah, talking about Railfest, which is this Saturday
Hey,
in Meridian.
I should send you a trading card flyer to print out if you wouldn't mind doing a little bit of
I don't have a
advertising.
printer, Ella.
What?
I don't have a printer.
Ah. Well, I tried.
Just gotta
You
make
know what? Wait, when is Railfest? I'll put one in the mail.
It's this Saturday.
Damn it. All right.
look for the future, Kaiser, and you just gotta request a card for the Loco Effumer's past.
Yeah.
No, see, well, if I remember right, those of us who didn't win but made it to the finals, we get to submit a locomotive for what is it?
Consideration.
Yeah, for a future People's Choice
Consideration
badge.
for the future People's Choice badge, and I have one that's lined up that I want to send in, and I bet you can't guess what it is.
Is it 116 or is it the Big Belgian? Because one of those I will be.
No.
mustering.
No, it is neither. It is SNCF 242.
Oh no!
The French.
Oh god,
We-
the French. I've wanted to. I mentioned this. To,
Or if I can finish the stat sheet for it, it'll be the 240p, or I might just get bored and send in the Nord Baltic, because I know you actually like that one.
the Nord Baltic is a neat locomotive. I thought
Yeah,
you were going
with
to
its
say the
3,000
6-cylinder
square
thing.
feet of firebox area.
Ugh. Yeah, I don't think we have a card with a water tube boil. Oh wait, no, we have 60,000 as a card. Good
Well,
luck finding one though.
I have the thought, Ellis.
Yep.
I just had this random thought. Would it be faster to ride the Crescent down from Rhode Island or put the flyer
I will
in the
I will hand deliver you this black and white flyer from my office printer so you can hang it up at the thing. Listen, I don't know what to do,
Hey,
but
it will be the perfect thing because our museum is in an REA building.
Oh, this is an important like first class. Listen, Amtrak, I know you discontinued the parcel service, but I need you to do this one thing for me.
It's
Uh,
like make
For
it a
old
paper
time's
airplane
sake.
and throw it at the driver.
calling up Joe Biden. Listen, I know Amtrak is your thing. You need to help me out, man. All right, I will
Joe
see all
Biden.
of you next season, whatever it may be. Either season 11 of Locomotive Royale or a season of Loco Dome coming soon. And by soon, I probably mean next year because uh, everybody deserves a break for the holidays. Thank
Oh
you all
yeah.
for watching, and do the YouTube stuff, like and comment and subscribe, and join the Discord and check on our theironhorseman.com and buy trading cards and everything else that I could say to possibly plug here. I hope you all enjoyed this season of Locomotive Royale, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Also, if you, or any
Bye.